And we're back with another Sculpt Session Sunday. I'm here with my bestie man Dizzle with the shizzle. Say hello.
I
And we are coming to you live with a hot topic, and that is very much focused towards competitive bodybuilders. If you are not a competitive bodybuilder, you could still get a ton of knowledge from here. But we are going to be talking about what it takes to be a competitive bodybuilder, the mindset, the discipline, the reality behind the physique, because the truth is that everybody wants the results, but very few are willing to actually live the lifestyle. And there's a lot more that goes into it than just dieting, cardio, and then putting on a shiny bikini and putting heels on stage. So these are things that how I viewed bodybuilding before I started is, I didn't understand the ins and outs, that it's more than just the glam, the glitz, and the stage photos. Like what really goes into it. So I feel like anyone who's aspiring to be a competitive bodybuilder wants to step into this world or just wants to understand a little bit more of what being a competitive bodybuilder is like, this is going to be a very beneficial episode for you. So I want to start off by saying that both Mandy and I are competitive bodybuilders. We are in different seasons of being competitive bodybuilders, but nevertheless, we very much have both been in each other's shoes in the growing phase, in the pre-prep, prep, all of like as a competitive bodybuilder, you experience all of that because there's just no other way around it. This is not just a 12-week challenge. This isn't a 3-month cut. This isn't like a quick little fix and then you're done. Like being a bodybuilder is a lifestyle. And if you are a competitive bodybuilder, this is not a one and done unless it's like something that's on your bucket list that you just want to step on stage, which I have some thoughts about that too, and I'm sure you do as well. But we're talking specifically to the bodybuilders that are like in this to be in this, like for more than just a season. And there's a lot of things that go into it, the day to day. So I think we're just gonna get the ball rolling with that. First of all, Mans, you have been in the bodybuilding world. How long have you been competing? Tell the people a little bit more about you if this is their first time seeing you on this channel, hopping on here and listening to two bodybuilders talking about being bodybuilders.
yeah, so I have been in the bodybuilding space since 2022. I am NPC bikini, not wellness. My legs tell a different story, but I swear to God, I'm bikini. Um, and I have been lifting for about 10 years, and I kind of always wanted to do bodybuilding. I saw the fitness influencers on Instagram back in like the heyday, like when Gymshark was just coming out and it was the big thing. And I was always like, oh, that looks so cool. I want to do it, but I didn't have confidence and I didn't really understand it. And then like the little nerd I am, I spent probably almost 2 years like researching bodybuilding and what it entailed and what is a bodybuilding pro, what do they look like, what do they do? Because originally I used to just think like, don't come for me, guys. This is young Manny not knowing better. And this was coming from a place of slight envy too. I would like look at the female bodybuilders, no matter the division, and I'd be like, you get up on stage like almost naked, like you a tan ass hoe. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand. And
Yeah.
then I was also jealous because I'm like, oh my God, they look so good. I want to look like that.
Yeah.
So I did the research, and then all of a sudden I was like, could I do this? And I took the leap in 2022, did a couple shows, did a lot of healing, big growth phase, and healing my gut. And here I am in the pre-prep phase, about to start a new season.
That's so exciting. That's so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I feel like a lot of people could relate that it, starts with just going to the gym and getting into the sport, and then somehow you transition into this competitive bodybuilding sport. Like you just become a part of this world. And it's crazy because from the outside, if you don't know about it, you don't know about it. Like it's
No,
it's really so small and almost everyone knows each other. I mean, if you're not like some big fitness influencer, like, yeah, maybe not like everyone knows each other, but there are very well-known names in the industry that everybody knows. There's not a lot of them, like like the Arnold, what's the Arnold? There's like 15 girls in the Arnold, if even. Like the Olympia, it's what, 50 Olympians, I believe, if even. Like it's very it's big, but it's not that big. And it's really cool to see how many people are getting into competitive bodybuilding and like interested in it and are trying to take that leap. So this reason for us talking about this, and I speak about this a lot also on social media, is like being a bodybuilder is more than just working out and eating good. Like a lot goes into it. The daily reality, the things that people don't see, the things that people don't understand, the things that you only know and you learn when you're in it. So those are a couple of the things that I want to talk about. And I'll start off with the fitness side of things. So when you're in your off season, it's eating when you're not hungry. When you're in your prep, it's keeping yourself as far away from the kitchen because you're starving. Training when energy is low for either or. Repeating the same exercises, repeating the same meals, repeating the same daily basic things. Like every single day, your protocol does not change. And it's interesting. I mainly work with lifestyle clients. I do have a couple prep clients, but I mainly work with lifestyle clients and I apply the things that I do as an athlete and as a competitor to my lifestyle clients because I truly believe that that is the foundation of achieving goals is having those strong basics. Just that is your day-to-day life. But yeah, every single day it's the gallon of water. Every single day there's a step goal. Every single day it's either you're training, you're stretching, you're recovering, you're moving your body. Every single day it's hitting macros, it's weighing out your food, it's cooking whole foods. Like that is the day to day. Like this is not just something that you do when you're getting ready for a show or a competitor. This is the life that bodybuilders live. And that doesn't change. And yes, there's balance. Yes, there's out meals, there's free meals, there's all that kind of fun stuff. But that is a once in a blue moon. It's not that putting your food on a scale is a once in a blue moon. That is your norm. That is your regular. And these are things that I was personally very apprehensive about when I first started bodybuilding. I was like, I don't want to fucking weigh my food. That's toxic. I don't want to have a bad relationship with the food scale. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to limit myself when in reality, I was just, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but I was small-minded when it came to that. I'm not saying that someone else who views it that way is small-minded because you might not have a great relationship with food. I had the worst relationship with food, hence me saying I was small-minded because I couldn't see past the fact that the scale is going to teach me more because I felt like not knowing was better for me because then I could just do whatever and like not know. And once you start learning things and understanding things about your body is when you're like, I gotta make some changes. And that brings me to the mindset portion of it. It's showing up without the validation. It's trusting the process. It's learning new things. It's being able to accept the fact that you don't know everything and that you have to learn. And it's funny that you mentioned that you had no idea, like you took the 2 years to like learn about bodybuilding and like what it was and what it was like. I didn't go to a single bodybuilding show or know anything about it until my first show. Like
Wait, what?
I knew about it, like I knew about it to an extent, but besides see like I didn't even know like what the call outs were like or like the lineups or anything until like 1 or 2 weeks out from my show when my coach and I first started doing like practice transitions like with other athletes.
Oh,
I
wow.
I learned everything that I learned about bodybuilding, which I'm sure everyone did, but like through like YouTube and TikToks and Instagram and social media, like I had Laura Lee on my vision board and like I watched her routine and like tried to mimic it, like to like do that. Like I've never been to a bodybuilding show besides my own. And funny enough, I've never actually been to a bodybuilding show that I didn't compete at. Like
Wait, what?
yeah, every single bodybuilding show that I've ever gone to is a show that I've competed at. I've never just like gone to a show just to go, which is changing this year because I have clients who are competing and I'm also gonna go with the team that I'm an athlete for, like just to go to a couple
Mhm.
shows because I'm not competing this year. But yeah, and like even saying that out loud, like I don't want to call myself a seasoned competitor. I feel like I haven't earned that title to be a seasoned competitor, but I've been competing similarly since 2023 and like really in the space since 2022. And even there, yeah, haven't been to a bodybuilding show that wasn't a show that I competed at.
Wow.
And like, this is not something that you have to do as a competitive bodybuilder, but that's how you educate yourself. That's how you learn more. And like, I kind of gave myself the shit end of the stick by not doing those things, but I also didn't understand how much there was to the sport until I got so deep into it that I was like, I just have to figure it out. I just have to figure it out.
There are two types of people here because I was like, I gotta go to a show. I gotta see what I gotta scope everything out first. I'm like doing all my little research, and you're just like, I'm gonna just jump in the fire.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that explains us and like our personalities very well. Hence why I think like we
Yeah.
are so good together because like you research everything and I'm just like, let's fucking do it. Like let's just go, let's just do it. And it's awesome. But this is me saying like had if I could go back when I first started, I would have went to that bodybuilding show beforehand to understand it. I would have spoken to more bodybuilders. I wouldn't be scared to reach out to bodybuilders. And this is me also putting Mandy and I out there. If you have any questions, if you want to learn anything, if you want to communicate with bodybuilders, like not as like we're gonna try to poach you as clients or like whatever. We are truly here. Like if you just want to reach out and be like, I'm about to compete my first time, like what should I prepare for? What do I pack in my suitcase? Like I'm gonna do a whole, we're gonna do a whole series on that. But I just want you to feel very comfortable to like reach out to bodybuilders. We love this sport. We're in it because we love it. You don't get paid to be a bodybuilder.
Oh,
This
hell
is
no.
this is as they call a rich man's sport. Like you don't get paid to do any of these things. You do them because you love them. And if you don't love them, don't do them. So if anyone has any questions or wants to talk about it, our DMs are always open. We are so freaking passionate about this. So like Mandy's username and mine are both gonna be in the show notes. Reach out to us. I'm gonna pause here to give you a moment to speak because I feel like I just like mumbo jumbo rambled, and after that, I want to like just hit on a couple more points and open up the ground. But
No, I love everything that you're saying because I mean, aside from just showcasing the difference between us when we first started, which I also absolutely love, my experience with it, like I said, I did like some of the research and I went to a local show before I got on stage, but also like I decided in 2022, no matter what, I was going to compete. I started posing. I reached out to, at the time, she was still an NPC, but Carly Cook. And I was like, teach me how to pose. And that was in January. I was not planning to do a show until September. So I start posing and I don't even know what's going on yet, have never been to a show. And a couple months later, I go to my first local show. And I was literally just like staring at the stage like in awe because it was also happened to be a natural show.
oh,
Yeah, it was an NPC natural show, which I mean, I didn't know anything at that time
I think those are
about.
OCB shows.
No, it was NPC,
Oh,
but yeah, this is the only in Illinois. This is the only like natural only show that I'm aware of
okay, okay,
that
that
they
makes
do
sense.
every like spring. And the athletes just look phenomenal. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I definitely want to do this. And just like I was watching my watch and I'm like, oh, these last a while. This is a lot because I only went to one portion. You know, usually they do pre-judging in the morning and then finals at night, I think is most shows, but I've also heard of them doing like individual routines in the morning and then comparisons at night, which I think that was in Tennessee. I heard somebody tell me that's what they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was good to get that exposure because I'm one of those people where like if I understand it before I do it, it takes some of my like anxiety away. And
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know it.
me watching on like this on YouTube while I was doing cardio, literally like call outs, comparisons, rounds, like so I knew I just was never like there. Like
I
I
give
watch so many videos, like that's literally how we do everything. Like before we travel somewhere, we'll watch a million videos of the place and like when we get there, I'm like, "Oh, okay, like I got this." But like
you.
I don't know, that my mind works differently. And no, yeah, I mean, it's you definitely want to be involved in the bodybuilding community. And I love that you mentioned about like starting the posing, doing all of those things. Like when you are a competitive bodybuilder, it is not just the nutrition, it is not just going to the gym and working out and doing cardio. It is the posing. It is tracking your sleep. I use an Oura ring. Mandy also uses an Oura ring. I just recently started using a Humi band and a Humi scale or Hume scale, Hume band, to also help track those things. And like the vitamins, the supplements, the recovery, the stretching, everything plays a role. And I think that the most important part when jumping into being a competitive bodybuilder is understanding the mindset and like then with that the mental toll that it takes because it does to an extent. And the first thing that I want to touch on is the mindset. And if you've been here before, you've heard us talk about these things many times because mindset is just what hits the hardest. It is just such an important factor in everything and anything that you do in life, like your mindset around it. When it comes specifically to the sport, the motivation will fade quickly. You will not be motivated. You will not want to do it. You will not want to get up and do your freaking cardio when your coach says 60 minutes 5 times a week. You're not going to want to do it. You have to. If you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, you have to. You chose to be a competitive bodybuilder, you got to do it. If you don't have structure, you're fucked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my French. You can't do a prep without having structure. You can't be a competitive bodybuilder, a successful competitive bodybuilder without having structure. You can't just like, oh, maybe I'll eat this today. It doesn't work like that. You have to know what is happening when there comes a point where you're going to be weighing out your salt, girl. Like it gets serious. It is serious. It is not a lolly, lolly, lolly. I'm gonna see how I feel. Like you can't flow through it. It's not a flowy girl kind of thing. Like it is David Goggins, serious shit. And if you have never read David Goggins, I highly recommend reading him, especially if you're in prep. Both of his books, Can't Hurt Me, is incredible. Um, you can't negotiate with your goals. If you want to win, you can't negotiate. You can't cut yourself short. 5 minutes of cardio, yeah, it matters. That extra rep while you're training, yeah, it matters. The extra 5 grams of rice that you throw in every single meal that you don't think matter, it matters. When you're in prep and you're a competitive bodybuilder, it matters. Um, Training and food are not emotional decisions. You no emotions. You don't want to do it. You don't feel like it. You have the most traumatic thing happening in your life, but you are getting ready for a show. You can't pick and choose here. Like this is when it's like literally nothing else. Like everything else has to just be noise. And like that's hard when you're a bodybuilder and when you want to take the sport seriously because if you choose to focus on everything else and not that line, you won't make it there the way that you want to. It's not going to go the way that you want to. And sometimes you have to pull out of a prep. And that's another hard thing is getting real with yourself. I had to pull out of a prep. I'm now taking a way longer off season than I ever anticipated, willingly, because I just understand that this is what I need to do. I know you had to take a very long off season. And that brings me to if someone wants to get into the bodybuilding sport and wants to be a competitor, but they aren't there yet with muscle and or to grow, or they've competed, but they're not there yet to compete again. What is the best advice that you have for someone that's having a really hard time with taking that time off to be a successful competitor?
I'd ask them what the mental barrier is, because I think, at least for a lot of female competitors, I can't really speak to the men. I haven't heard any of the men that I know personally talk about this yet. But I think for the female competitors, they get very hesitant to come out of that stage lean look. There's a lot of body dysmorphia in there. And the reality of it is, and like I went through this too, as somebody who was heavy and obese and lost a lot of weight before I decided to adopt this lifestyle and try bodybuilding, I understand how fucked that body dysmorphia gets you. But if you truly want to be competitive and you're doing show after show back to back, short off seasons, and you keep getting the same feedback from the judges that you need more muscle, like nothing is going to change unless you choose to change it and to take that long off season and get more muscle. Because unfortunately, most of us are seasoned lifters and it takes more time to put on muscle if you have muscle maturity already. That's just the way it is. You could work a whole year and you'd be lucky if you got 3 pounds of muscle. it just do be like that.
Yeah,
But so
yeah,
that's what I would ask somebody is like, what is your mental barrier to why you're not taking the time to do what you need to do? Because then you're not going to be competitive.
absolutely. No, that is incredible. And you touching on that body dysmorphia, that when I said mental toll, like 5 minutes ago, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Mhm.
Because that mental toll with the body dysmorphia, when you're that lean, you don't see yourself that lean.
Yeah.
You never think you're lean enough unless you actually take a step back and like appreciate your leanness. Like unless you like mentally really, really work on your approach towards yourself, you will have a very hard time in the sport. And we all suffer from this and to one extent or another. I look at pictures of myself lean now. I'm like, holy fucking shit. I had an 8 pack. Like
Yeah,
you
you did.
do the freaking, you could wring out the laundry on my stomach. And now it's not there. And like, I'm okay with it because my butt looks great now.
Yeah.
And like, I had a flatty pancake butt when I was in prep. Like, it was the bare bones that was on there, like whatever, it was very light in the mass. But when I was that prep lean, I would see that, and it's almost like I didn't believe that that was me, or I didn't appreciate that I've done this work. And I just didn't appreciate being in that season enough. And we're talking about a little over half a year ago, and I'm now learning more than ever of like truly appreciating and loving every season that you're in. And when you're in your off season, it hits it hits. The body image shifts. The off-season discomfort of clothes fitting you differently, of when you're slouched over and like you see a roll, or like maybe someone takes a picture of you from the side and you're not standing the way that you wanted. I've been actually doing this thing on purpose where I will set up my camera to record myself posing and I'll start recording. And before I start posing, I will literally just breathe out and like just like this in front of the camera. And I've yet to post a video like that because again, this is something that I'm working on. This is something that is very, something that I've struggled with too. And I was the chubby kid. I was overweight, like overweight in my and my family's opinion. I struggled with eating relationship with food. I don't want to call it an eating disorder, but like wouldn't eat and then would binge and like all of these things. So like I know what it's like to have the bad relationship with food, the bad relationship with your body. And even here when I was so lean, I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I didn't appreciate it. So like that off season being able to like love yourself and like not let your identity and your worth be tied to the way that your physique is, and being able to separate the two and being okay with being soft and not comparing yourself on social media and just like not seeing, like I see girls who are 2 months out of their reverse, like or in their reverse, and I'm like, wow, maybe if I didn't get my boobs done, my reverse would have went better. Or like and like you have these thoughts and these things, and it is very mentally challenging to be a competitive bodybuilder. And what you said, it's like, why is this bothering you? Like, why is this bothering you? And my next question, after you answer that, and after we answer that to ourselves, truthfully and honestly, is to ask yourself, and now why do you want to be a bodybuilder? Like, why, what about this? Like, why do you want to compete? Why do you want to bodybuild? Why did you start bodybuilding? Because I started it to feel more confident. So now I got to this point where it's like, yeah, I have my days when I feel so confident, but then I have my days where I beat myself up because I'm playing mind games with myself in my head about the way that I look because I'm not lean. And then when I'm lean, I'm playing mind games with myself about how I have no butt. It's like, make up your damn mind, woman. Is it one or the other? And like these are things that when you go into competitive bodybuilding, you need to prepare yourself for. You need to do that inner work. You need to have that self trust within yourself, that self, I want to say regulation, that being able to like tell yourself like, all right, I'm being a little crazy right now, and like having a coach that tells you like, hey, you actually look really good right now. Like it's okay that you're almost 30 pounds over stage weight. Like you look good. Like this is where we need to be. Like you're good. And that's really what it comes down to is like understanding that there is a mental toll. And if that you're able to work around that, because then the people that can't work around that are the ones that say that bodybuilding ruined their life. Bodybuilding does not ruin your life. Your approach to bodybuilding is what ruins your life. Mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop. I mean, also arguably, if you really truly want to be competitive, yes, this is a very physical sport, but it is also very mentally heavy. And that is part of being competitive is you need to work on your mental health. And if you can't take a step back and embrace all seasons of it, then it might not be the sport for you. And that's okay. Because I'll be honest, it's in the off season, that's when you can appreciate. Like when I was stage lean, I had such a hard time reversing, mostly because I didn't have a good plan, but also like mentally, I was like, oh no, I don't want to lose the lines. I don't want to become like the fat kid again. It was
Yeah.
what it was. That mental work wasn't done quite yet. And now I can look back in my off season as I've put on like muscle mass. I look back at my old photos and I'm like, well, yeah, I was really lean, but also I'm like, that girl wasn't gonna win anything. She d was so depleted, like so depleted that she needed way more muscle because I definitely, I mean, I've talked about this before. I did it naturally, but my hormone starting place was not great.
Yeah.
So if you truly are passionate about bodybuilding, you also have to conquer your mind. If you need to get a therapist, get a therapist. If you need to have like a one-to-one talk with your coach, do that. Because it really wasn't until I talked to my coach about like all the body dysmorphia things of the scale going up and all that, where he was like, hun, you're literally doing the hard stuff right now. Like that's what makes an athlete. Do you know how many athletes won't take a long off season and won't put on the muscle because they're chasing the stage? He's like, you're doing the things that make you a competitive athlete right now. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And it's like that mindset shift. And what you
Yeah.
said really stood out because you said it's not for everyone. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. And I was gonna wait until the end to say this, but like it's not for everyone, and that's okay. That's truly okay. You don't need to be a competitive bodybuilder to be a bodybuilder. You don't need to compete to be disciplined. Like you can be disciplined. Like I said, I mainly work with lifestyle clients. My girls are disciplined. My girlies are going to the gym. My girlies are getting results. They're losing weight. They're building muscle. You don't need to be a bodybuilder in order, like a competitive bodybuilder in order to bodybuild, in order to build your body. But if you do want to compete, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to have these hard conversations. You need to work on your mind. You need to work on your body. You need to understand that bodybuilding exposes the truth about you. It exposes your habits, it exposes your mindset, it exposes your discipline, it exposes your willingness to do the hard things in the off season. They're extremely hard things to do in the off season, like what your coach said. But don't take away from how hard it is to be in prep.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing those 60 minutes of cardio, yeah, even if you love it, there comes a point where you're so fatigued, where you're so tired, where it's like your brain fog, you can't work as much. Like there are also there's the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang. There's the good and the bad and everything. And the last thing that I just want to really quickly touch on, and I'm sure that we can do a part two and talk so much more about this. So if there's anything specific that you guys want us to go a little bit more in detail about, drop it in the comments, let us know, DM us, message us. We love hearing what you have to say. But the last thing that I really want to touch on is when you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, you have to be willing to make sacrifices. If you didn't get that yet. Like you have to make sacrifices, and you really have to prioritize the things that need to be a priority in the sport. Yeah, there's the social life trade-offs. Yeah, when you're in prep, you can't go out to eat. You can't have social drinks. You might have to not hang out with friends late because you need to get your sleep and track it with your Oura ring. Like there are trade-offs. The early mornings, the late nights, saying no more often than saying yes because you have to protect your mental energy, your physical energy, and your progress. And most importantly is like that choosing that consistency over the comfort, because there's nothing about being a bodybuilder that's comfortable. Not in the off season, not in the prep season, not in the maintenance, not in the reverse, not in the between. You can find something that's uncomfortable in every single season. And I don't want that to sound scary because on the flip side, there's so many beautiful things about every single season. And the last bomb drop that I have is that bodybuilding doesn't build bodies, it builds people. And if you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, like I said, it uncovers the truth about you and it builds a completely different you who you will not recognize. And you need to be okay with literally shedding your old self and everything that you think of yourself, essentially, unless you already think like a competitive bodybuilder, then you're right there, sister. Good. Let's get you ready. But you need to just understand that it is a very, very taking sport and takes a lot competitively, specifically. So, that's all that I had to say. Now, do you have any last thoughts, any last words of wisdom that you would tell someone that is either aspiring to be a competitive bodybuilder, isn't sure if they want to be competitive, but they love bodybuilding? Like, what would you say to someone who's a little bit struggling over here?
I would say start with really being honest with yourself and really taking an assessment of where your life currently is at and if it's realistic to apply the lifestyle of bodybuilding to your current life. And a big part of that that I think a lot of people gloss over is assessing your social circle
Mm,
and the people that are closest to you, because this is a very much solo sport. Like, if you want to do well, it's up to you to do well. Like, it's all on you. No one else does the work for you. I think you had a post on that the other day. No one will do the work for you. You have to do it for yourself. But when things get hard mentally, when things get hard emotionally, if the people that are surrounding you aren't supportive, or if they're saying things like, oh, well, you chose this, like it's not going to help you do better. So before you go into this sport, assess where you are in life, assess your circle, have very clear communication about expectations, boundaries, etc., whether it's a significant other, friends, family, whatever. And just know that even though it's you against you, having that support once you step on stage, that can also help make or break an athlete. So
yeah,
before you invest the time and the money, make sure you're in a good spot all around in life before you dive in. That's what my advice would be.
that's so good. That is so good. And I'm pretty sure we did a podcast on your channel talking about like your circle and how it affects you and like how the people around you affect you, right?
Yeah, I haven't edited it yet.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be up by the time that this video is up or whatever the case is, but we recorded a video like that on Mandy's channel as well, unfiltered and functional. So go check that out. But those are the tidbits of information that we have for you today. Like I said earlier in the podcast, if you have any questions about bodybuilding, just know that we are here. We love talking about it. We are extremely passionate about the sport. And whether you are someone who has never stepped foot in the gym before and are just very excited about the idea of bodybuilding, competitive or not, we are here to talk, answer questions, pick at our brains. They're here for a reason. And we also post a lot of valuable content on our social media platforms. So I'll link our links in the show notes below. And if you enjoyed this podcast, give us a like, subscribe. Drop a comment if you have any questions. 5-star rating if you're listening to it on Spotify. Helps this account grow, helps us push out some more awesome podcasts. And if you like bodybuilding topics specifically, if you are a bodybuilder, competitive, whatever, you like these topics, let us know because I love talking about this and I kind of want to do like a series, a bodybuilding series. So that might be in the works. But anyways, thank you for tuning in to another Sculpt Session Sunday. We will catch you again next Sunday. Bye.